And welcome to Media Mash. Now, tonight is the Wisconsin protest edition, where we expose the most outrageous examples of how the mainstream media is trying to put a liberal spin on the union-driven mayhem in Madison. And back with us to go through this week's material is the president of the Media Research Center, the one and only Brent Bozell. Brent, welcome back.
How you doing, Sean?
Well, we got to start with how they're comparing what is happening in Wisconsin to what's happening in the Middle East. And all the major networks are doing it. Let's roll the tape.
People power making history, a revolt in the Midwest, and a revolution sweeping across the Middle East.
One lawmaker looked out at the crowds gathered in the Wisconsin Capitol today and said it's like Cairo moved to Madison.
From the Mideast to the American Midwest tonight, people are rising up. Citizens' uprisings are changing the world.
Is Madison, Wisconsin, Congressman, the Tunisia of American politics now?
It's like they have the same writer, for crying out. And Christiane Amanpour is the absolute worst. But I want to get your reaction.
Sean, this is really goofy. I mean, these reporters should be embarrassed. What, is Scott Walker now going to come out and hire goons to machine gun people down on the streets of Madison? If you want to find a comparison, I'll give you a comparison. What do Mubarak, Gaddafi, and the Democratic legislators all have in common?
What?
They're in hiding. There's your comparison.
Okay. You win tonight's joke segment. All right. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Let's look at how the networks were all upset about the incivility of the Tea Party, and then we're going to compare it to Madison and some of the signs that were held up. Let's roll the tape.
They've waved signs likening President Obama to Hitler and the devil.
Some of it is aimed specifically and virulently at Obama, at his background, at his race, at his agenda. Fascist, communist, both.
A year-long debate that's been rancorous and mean from the start turned even nastier yesterday. Demonstrators protesting the bill poured into the halls of Congress shouting, "Kill the bill," and "Made in the USSR."
Yeah, it's like I don't hear Nancy Pelosi about AstroTurf anymore. And many of these things, the Tea Party was characterized generally as racist, extreme. Now, let's put up some of the signs that we've seen in Madison, where, for example, Scott Walker is Adolf Hitler, he's Mussolini, all across the board. Why do Republicans hate people, rape, all of these words. Mubarak he's compared to. And you know what? What a shock. Virtual silence from the media.
It's not just virtual silence. It is complete silence from the national media. This is incredible. After a year of lectures about civility and the need to stop being so hate-filled and looking for those pictures of those whack job Lyndon LaRouche supporters at Tea Party rallies that had those pictures equating Obama to Stalin, Obama to Satan, you have the exact same pictures now with Scott Walker. You even have, look, when Sarah Palin had pictures on her websites with crosshairs on counties, not people, counties, she was accused of being a participant in the murders in Arizona.
But for Fox
You've got
News,
that going on right now.
But for Fox News, well, but we were the ones that said, hey, by the way, look at these maps, because the Democrats did it for years. All right, let me move on to this one. The network's asking why Republicans are trying to break the unions. Has the GOP gone too far? It's like they are, the press office for the left. Let's roll the tape.
But I think in Wisconsin specifically, it seems to look like this governor is trying to basically break unions and that other states may then follow suit. Is this should unions be on alert all around the country?
Well, I think a lot of people look at this and say, okay, and especially in Wisconsin, we've seen the public employees say, wait, we'll pay more for our health care and pensions, but you can't take away our rights. Have the governors here gone too far?
Is there a coordinated Republican political agenda to this attack or this effort, this pointed effort at unions?
The tape speaks for itself. They are extraordinarily one-sided, but they claim to be fair. And typically, they only take one side.
Sean, it is extraordinary. They are taking the exact talking points of the unions themselves. If the media wanted to be educational, they would do a story on, for example, the amount of money that the public sector employee unions have contributed to the democratic process. Last year, it was $13.4 million. That was more than those giant pharmaceuticals and those giant bank special interests combined. So they're buying themselves members of Congress. They then get those members of Congress to give their union members these lavish salaries and fringe benefits using taxpayers' money. And along comes the governor who says, we're broke. We've got to stop this process. And they attack him for it.
All right. Now, by the way, we only got to half the material tonight, but we'll have you back next week for Media Mesh. Thanks, Brent Bozell. And